Welcome. Hi, Shailesh. Hi, Amber.
Hello, Vic.
Hi
Hello,
guys.
Amber.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. Hello, listeners. So we are once again back live, as Vic mentioned. So we are going to continue this beautiful series that we have created called Freedom of the Free Spirited. But most importantly, we are all one. The whole idea is we are all one. We are going to live as we are all one rather than just saying it. So this is a beautiful series that we created, Freedom of Free Spirit. We are into the third episode, which is today's topic is ego. And who doesn't like ego, who doesn't want ego, but no matter whatever it is, it's embedded in us. So why don't we go to Vic, who is our co-host and who is going to take us through this journey of episodes that we have created, topics that resonates with me, that resonates with you probably, and may give us more insights on what we are all as humans. So we are all one is easy to say, but these are all our topics that will really come and trigger and wants to realize and also uncover us through these topics. So we are trying to uncover ourselves through these topics. So let's not get into more and get straight into the topic called ego. I over to Beck. Beck, take us through and what's going to happen today.
Welcome, everybody. With great pleasure, I'd like to introduce Amber, who's our guest speaker today. So Amber is a wellness advocate. She's based in New Zealand, and she taps into the beauty and the wellness of the people that she has the privilege to work with. She likes to improve their health and their habits. So we thought it was great to have Amber join us today to just have a nice real conversation about the benefits and I guess the negatives that ego has to play in all of our lives. So welcome, Amber.
Hi guys, thank you so much for inviting me and having me on board here today. I've got to say, when the topic first came my way about ego, I immediately wanted to run as fast as I could. My system definitely went into the flight mode and I wanted to get the heck out of here. But I really just had to, slow my thought process down and actually, I think as Shailesh just already touched on, is that it does actually apply to all of us. It's embedded into somehow or another. And that's kind of the direction I wanted to actually go today. And maybe I do have something to offer the viewers as well.
Yeah, definitely, Amber. That would be good to have some insights from you. And I'm here to listen. But yeah, Beck and then Beck can guide us through and take us through.
So Amber, in our conversations, we've touched on a few, I guess, steps that you'd like to uncover that are involved with the ego. Can you sort of touch on them a little bit deeper for me?
Sure. So again, my initial thought is ego is someone the complete opposite to me. I think of somebody that's really out there, that is highly opinionated and makes it well known that everyone hears them. And I'm certainly not like that. I'm calm and casual and coast just at a nice temperament. So I kind of initially, that's why I couldn't, relate to the topic. And then I really just had to stop and take a bit of a deep breath and compose myself and really, rather than my initial freak out, was actually more take time to reflect a little deeper and how does this actually relate to me? Is there more to it? So, and I do agree that there is some level of ego in all of us. So I'm looking at it in the context of restricting our growth, and therefore it is quite a relevant topic when I think about it like that for myself, who's a lot quieter than most.
Yeah, I think you just answered my question that I was going to ask you. Do you do you feel that that was your ego trying to push you away and, you know, pushing you the opposite direction and running, you know, like there's,
Yeah,
you know,
that
for
safety
me,
wall.
ego, yeah, for me, like a lot of my fear comes with my ego. And I think, you know, my ego is protecting me from embarrassment or from being seen. The last few months for myself, you know, my ego stepped in front, you know, to go, I can't be seen, you know, like you can't, your rawness and your vulnerability, you know, is behind that ego. Do you feel that it's, you know, resonates with you in how you were feeling in the lead up to today?
Definitely. Yeah, it's absolutely how I was feeling. And when I took that time to actually take it a little deeper and find something that was relatable, it actually became very apparent to me, because I was thinking of it more and the example that in all of our daily lives, which is we're continually seeking acceptance and approval through social media. And I think that's something that everyone can relate to right now. How we portray
Definitely.
ourselves and how we come across versus how we actually are behind the screen.
So I'd just like to ask how you went about with your mindfulness and with, you know, the way that your thoughts were playing out to getting you to be here today and to be speaking and to sharing your journey and your path with us today.
Yeah, I really had to just break it down to the thoughts and the feelings and the actions basis. And the emotion is the trigger. And in terms of a social front, it's as simple as, what am I posting? Who's going to see it? You know, who is my audience and how are they going to react or relate? And then everyone goes through it again. How many likes or reactions to my post? And how do you even measure what the reaction is? How do you measure what is successful? What is that level that takes you past that safety barrier again? We are guaranteed everybody does it or goes through it to some degree or another.
Oh, sure.
And then from that,
Definitely.
you kind of go, what is the knock-on effect? How does that make you then feel? Are you elated? Are you devastated? You're relieved? You know, the list just goes on and on and on. So it's a pretty broad topic, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Do you find that it comes up quite evident with, you know, the people that you work with, you know, like work alongside, or that, you know, like just that, I guess, that you are in communication with on a daily basis, that ego is quite a strong or, you know, sort of a negative trait to hold?
No, not in the industry. I mean, you know, we're all a very supportive, like-minded bunch of humans, but you know, the world of social media, the norm is this is what society deems as normal, and we're just going through another different phase of life. I think that it's accepted, and the younger generations are coming through this as this is normal. So I think that's more of a worry on the bigger picture.
For sure.
Yeah, so picking on that,
and I just wanted.
Sorry, you go, Beck. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Shailesh. Go ahead.
No, I was just trying to pick on just one thing that what you mentioned, Beck, when you were asking, like, how does it affect in your day-to-day or in your current journey of your business or your profession that you are in? Ego makes an important part of every individual, for every human. However, when it comes to the emotional well-being of your own, is more important to when it comes to ego. So how do you tend to see that ego part as an emotional challenge for you?
That's probably where I need to just trust in myself a little more.
Yeah.
You know, I know me better than anyone, and therefore take the responsibility away from the process, and you know, remind myself why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I believe in what I'm doing and because I'm passionate about it. I'm doing it for me before anyone else, and that's my growth.
Because that's definitely passed on to your clients or to your people that you work with, and then that's always a challenge to manage your ego with your emotions, which you are indirectly or directly passing on to your people that you deal with or people that you work with. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
it is always a challenging situation every single moment. So
Yes.
yeah, just I thought that I'll ask you that how are you dealing with the current situation and the system that we are living in, with having your own ego, but then or as you said, like you're working around with your own kind of emotions.
Yeah, I think it's important to stay grounded and to find things that help keep you grounded as a human and what's important. So for me, it's, the health and nutrition is really important to me
Right.
in the base level, but there's other things that help nurture me, and that might be nature or being creative, being artistic, being around, like-minded individuals, stuff that nurtures your soul and really elevates you.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's a good point. It comes back to the topic we were speaking of last week, self-awareness. And I think the first step is to being aware whether or not, it is our true self or our ego, where we're acting from or, leading from with our behaviors or our thought patterns and our choices in life. How do you feel about that? Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I think I didn't actually see your episode last session, but it sounds like it is definitely a continuation here. It does tie in for sure, and I do agree. Yeah.
Yeah, because self-awareness is a topic where is also ego comes in as well. That what you are made up of, or what you think who you are, inside, outside. Because sometimes you do understand that you are not what you want to be, or you are something that you want to be, or you are not what people think of you. And this is a challenge, that how do you present yourself that you are not what you think, but you are what I think. That kind of scenario is always a challenge. So ego does live around that moment of self-awareness, I guess.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I guess I can relate it a little bit to the well-being focus as well, because
Yes.
the wellness starts from the inside, and if you can tap into nurturing yourself in there, from within, it's going to shine through, and you're going to, I'm definitely getting a stronger person as I grow through these processes. So.
Yes.
Definitely, I'd have to agree with you there. I think, the processes that I go through, grounding, being, back in nature, I think for me is, firstly being aware of when my ego is coming into play and when I am being held up by my ego. I think ego is such a, I'd like to say it's needed to a certain extent. It's a safety mechanism I think we all have in place for our pride, for how we're going to be viewed, or how society is going to take us, and what our thoughts are, and what our opinions are of the society, of the community that we're amongst. But then on the other hand, it can be quite detrimental because it does hold us back. It does, when we are leading from a place of ego, I think, where it's all an individual, you're for your own outcome. Whereas once you step aside from ego, you are working from, a community minded outcome. Or,
I guess you do have to just take responsibility for your own actions, and and wear the acceptance, do the best you can, and just try and make something of it. Yeah. And I guess that probably that whole point about the acceptance is tied in with my reflection here on this topic, because to give myself a break, if we all took the time to actually give ourselves a bit of a break, think with a little more compassion, nobody's perfect. We're always learning and growing. I know I am. And so more self-love and acceptance is really just what everyone needs a little more of. And I think that will go a long way and maybe bringing some of our egos up a little more and reducing some others so that we're a little bit more balanced.
Definitely. I'd have to agree there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Amber, can I ask you one thing? Like you mentioned, it's beautifully you said everything, like which included your mindfulness, your pride, and your emotions and the reality and extent. But when it comes to ego, have you found yourself that ego is a good thing, bad thing? It's not important, but is it works for you, or is it? Do you change often that ego meaning or ego kind of description that you have designed or that you think it should be? Ego, this is not ego, and this is ego.
I've always I've shied away from anything to do with ego because, like I say, it's the most foreign, feeling, vibe, concept, word, to everything that I thought resonated with me. But, I guess this process and talking to you guys and going through this task has actually really helped me, just really question actually. It's actually quite an important trait, and we probably should I should be elevating that a little more. Yeah.
So ego can restrict you can restrict your thought process. Yeah, limitations, restrictions. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It would definitely be how I would describe myself up until now, for sure.
Right. Okay. But it's also the other way around. It's not just us, but the people that we deal with, they also have their own ego. They also have their own kind of pride, and they also have their own mindfulness in everything. And it can clash, or it can work, or it can impact, but it will take some actions and it will do some reactions, but it will benefit, it will not benefit. But it's not about benefit, not benefit. It's about like whether it resonates and move forward with towards growth rather than towards backwards.
Yeah, and some people who have the big ego, is that someone you want to generate your energy and time with, trying to push through that level to really connect with them? And that's I guess every individual is different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's coming up for me with this topic is, and with our podcast in general, wellbeing podcast, I think ego is it's definitely prevalent in our society. We have you've got high ego, and then you have really, we have people with really low egos. But I think as we're going on in this conversation, like I'm getting downloads, and it's really so much. It's helped me so much because it's actually, I've had a few light bulbs going, and it's like, well, in leading into this topic, I'll be honest, I was like, ego, it's been such a negative, sort of topic for me. It's nearly taboo to speak of, the ego, and to acknowledge it and to accept it. But just this conversation, the few minutes that we've been talking, it's helped me to acknowledge that, ego it's not just a safety mechanism. It's not just, a tool that we have to hide behind, but it's also a tool that we can lift ourselves up with as well. I think, when you are using ego as a tool, with your character, it can save you, but it can also move you through blockages.
Yeah.
As you're saying, Amber, the ego really didn't resonate with you before today. And I think just hearing you speak through it and your realizations yourself, it's definitely changing my light towards how I see ego and how I, acknowledge ego and how it plays a part in my life and the people in my community.
Yeah, I totally relate to that. And I think you've summed it up really well. I'm always one that less is more, but yeah, just going through this and actually questioning myself and my beliefs and my thoughts and my feelings and emotions is actually, it's definitely changed my opinion for sure.
And I think really that's my one and only aim with this podcast, is just to put the subjects in front of people, and to have a conversation about the taboo topics, and to make people comfortable in speaking into these into these topics, and getting a better understanding of how different people will relate to them, and how they will play a part in everybody's lives on a different level.
Yeah, for sure.
So in terms of for you as an ego in your own kind of profession that you are in, or trying to help humans in nutrition inside out, and also giving them coaching or stuff like that, what do you think ego plays an important role? How does it makes an important role to even present something that others should accept? Like you have accepted, but how do you make sure that others are accepting? Because ego is a strong thing for everyone. And that's the hard part for you to convince everyone or anyone.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's as simple as convincing people. I think it's just, you've got to be true to yourself, lead by example, and be the best version of you. And by doing that, hopefully I'm making an impact and influencing somebody, or can help one person, then that's got to be a good thing.
Sure. Yeah. You can ask anything you want. What do you think?
I think I'm good. I think my questions have been answered, I believe. Yeah.
I would like to ask a few things, Amber, in terms of your thought process when it comes to ego. Is, how, to me more, how do you resonate or relate ego to the emotional well-being aspect that we are living in currently in uncertain times? And then on top of it, there is a lot of vulnerability. There's a lot of easy kind of target people can do. But then that's where your ego comes in, and you say, now, this is what I want to do, or this is what I think it should be. But how do you present it is more important, so that we are having our emotional well-being. At the same time, we want to make sure that our surroundings emotional well-being is also taken care of, whatever way we could as a contribution.
Yeah, it's a pretty broad topic, isn't it?
I know, but in small, like in your profession that you do, okay, you make sure that your emotional well-being first is looked after.
Absolutely being met, yes. And I think it is, as on simple terms, on a daily basis, I'm making sure my body is getting what it needs to. And that's right. I trust in the process. I believe in the products I'm taking, creating a life for myself that's meaningful. And I'm designing my own future. I'm not sitting around trying to follow the masses or copy, or I just want to create something that's heartfelt and meaningful to me, and share that with people on the same level. So that's timely for the topic of ego, because it is quite home hitting for me to actually connect on such a deep level with this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. So because ego is not just like, okay, I have got this pride, or I have got my own way of thinking or my way of putting things, but is actually working with your ego, with other egos, because we are not just one ego, we are surrounded by all egos. And so if you look at from that angle and from that point, we are in the middle of a sea of egos now. So we want to swim, and we all want to swim in that. But we also want to swim with our emotional well-being being intact and not going down the down lane. So in terms of that, what would you advise, or what would you say? Working with people is very important for you, and that's where the whole thing, as you said, like you are nutritionist, so you are looking after the inside of the body as well, and that's one of the key thing is the emotions, it's the
Yeah,
mindfulness.
yeah.
And
It's also whole health. It doesn't have to be taking,
Mm.
certain products. It just needs to be as simple as, you don't have to spend money to look after yourself. What are the things you need to do to nurture your soul? What are the things you need to do to elevate your spirit? Whether it's as simple as a hot bath, whether it's a walk in nature, take some time out once a day for 15 minutes or one afternoon a week to find time for yourself, because if you don't look after yourself, you're no good to anyone else.
yeah. So does this, it's very easy to say that, okay, you can do this, that, and somebody are not made up of like that. Some people are like, they have their own patterns, they have their own kind of strategies that they work on, but that's where they miss out on certain things. But in your experience, because you have been there, and you're still doing it, what would be your simple advice? Like, it doesn't take, as you said, like it doesn't cost you to do certain things. It doesn't cost you at all to smile, as they say. And that's important part of it, that it doesn't cost you to walk or to take time for 15 minutes for yourself.
Yeah, I think we're never going to make everyone happy. Not everyone's going to be in a place in their life where they're ready to tap into certain areas or dig a little deeper or think about things a different way. Again, coming back to the ego. So maybe there's a time and a place for everything. And yeah, we just have to accept if we don't connect with somebody at that moment, don't take it personal.
Yeah. So I guess what you're trying to say, that you should be more passionate about yourself first, more about your own, like taking a deep breath and thinking that, okay, we should be more compassionate to ourselves first. Correct. As you said rightly, nobody's perfect and nothing in this world is perfect. But yeah, this is what we live in, this imperfect world, and try to find out acceptance.
Just do the best with what you've got at this time, because you can only go up. No matter how bad a day you're having or what a difficult time you're going through, I always think there's somebody out there far worse off than you, and just be grateful for what you have. Your time will come, and yeah.
So how does it play when it comes to reality? Of your definition for reality and acceptance is what you have trying to resonate with ego. So do we accept the way we are as it is and consider what's the reality, that we don't have to listen or understand that, okay, somebody is telling us to do this, but it's in their view. But what is that, a reality, or is it just a view or just an opinion that somebody is telling us to do? Rather than living, as you said, like grounded was the word that you used. We need to be grounded ourselves.
Maybe it's curiosity. Maybe
curiosity.
Some people might be satisfied with living their life a certain way all their life. Some people get out, experience a little more, travel, try foods, do different experiences, and they maybe strive for a little more and more curious and want to find out more and have a bigger growth on their journey through life. So that's probably how I see it. Yeah.
So exploring is more important, or curiosity is more important than just believing, because once you start believing, then your ego also goes up quite strong.
That's a good point.
What do you think? What's your take on it? Yeah, Beck and let me know. But I
Yeah,
think
I
I will
agree. Yeah,
read this.
definitely. I think the more, we do explore and the more we are curious, automatically, the ego comes in, the wall is there, your world is changing the more you explore, the more curious you are. So you're opening more doors, but in that, there's still a safety, I guess, armor that, you want to have there just in case, it doesn't, the way,
Yeah.
the areas that you're exploring or your views that you have on different, different topics, it's changing. And so the people around you might not be changing with you. So, your ego will always step in to protect you with, as you explore and
I think you've really explained it quite well. And back to this this experience with you guys on this call. If you'd said to me 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, I would be joining you on a call, I would just be absolutely not, So it's just you've got to be in the right time to be open. So
I think, Beck, you
Definitely.
mentioned very correctly, appropriately, and it quite sits very well with Amber's thoughts and the way she has explained as well. So it just escalates and more confirmation and affirmation of the word topic ego that we are talking today. So yeah, exploring curiosity
Definitely.
is absolutely a key thing, and otherwise you are restricting yourself in your beliefs. And then when you restrict, it's your ego is becomes stronger and more harder, and then there is no flexibility, there is
Yeah, for
no
sure.
adaptability, I guess. And from Amber's point of view, yeah, the more you explore, the more you are grounded, and the more you are acceptance of the reality. That's the key
grow
thing.
more.
Yeah, that's right.
Keep growing.
Growing more, yes. Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Wonderful. Shailesh, was there anything else that you wanted to add to today? I think we've wrapped it up. I think we've
I
covered.
think we did. Yeah, we have covered everything. So once again, I'll just reiterate the facts that Amber was just telling and give me a confirmation about my understanding as well. Like the ego is a very strong topic. An ego definitely can restrict growth of people if it becomes more harder and stronger, and if there is no flexibility, there is no exploring, there is no adaptability, then definitely it's going to be more restricting to yourself than the world around you or others. It's about you and it's about your emotional well-being. So just from that point of view, I would like to really thank and take this opportunity to say that these are some 5 important keywords that Amber was telling: pride, mindful, emotions, reality, and acceptance. So these are the 5 elements of any human being who are listeners and who are listening, that check yourself, whether are you having any pride with yourself? Are you mindful of yourself? Are you emotional, taking decisions, or are you checking the reality, living in reality? And then accepting this the way who you are, and letting people also to accept you the way you are, rather than you becoming just the way they want you to be. Does that make sense, Amber?
Yeah, that's great. Yep.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, no, that's good. Thank you so much, Amber. This is great insights on a topic called ego. And I would love to have your more insights in the future as well, with different that you can bring and give us your wisdom and experience and share to our audiences. But audiences, please feel free to write to us, talk to us, and ask us any questions that you would like to, or get some clarification, or even if you want any help from Amber, who is here as acting as more here to help on this planet, rather than just as a human being who is here. Does that answer that, Amber?
Lovely. Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much, guys, for having me join you. Yeah, it's been fantastic.
I'll put
You're
it
very
to
welcome. Thank you so much
Beck.
for joining us. Awesome.
Yeah, Beck, you can finish
Thank
it
you,
off.
guys, and we'll see Yeah, lovely. I'd just like to say thank you again and really appreciate Amber for taking the time to just come and chat with us today about ego. We will be back again next week. Again, if you do have any questions, if there is anything you're wanting us to ask our guests or dive deeper into, just reach out, let us know, and we will sure to get those questions answered for you. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely day and Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you, Amber. Thank you so
Merry
much
Christmas.
once again. Looking forward to meeting you once again.
See you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.